Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Amoy Sirius News Network's Sunday Paper program. In this week's news, Hillary has emails that are just her own. Porn star arrested for DUI. Of course, daylight savings time is here, which is why we have bags under our eyes at this broadcast. I, for one, forgot that I turned my clocks ahead before going to bed last night on a self-adjusting clock, which means I was 2 hours ahead. And in national news, Bloody Sunday, Bloody Sunday, was memorialized today down there in Selma, Alabama. These stories and more with the John Smarmy's One Brown Eye on the World, Darren Martinez's movie views and reviews, John Rice's Gamers Update, and of course Ron Morrow and his Mystic Minute. Ooh. Stay tuned right here at the iOS News Sunday Paper program.
It's the I'm Only Serious News Network with Dan Mahan, John Smarmy, John Rice, Dave Morrow, and Darren Martinez.
In national news, Hillary Clinton is wrapped up in yet another scandal. Apparently, she kept her own email account, which is why when our person from the Secretary of State's office out there in Benghazi was emailing her for help back 2 years ago when he was being attacked, she never got the message. Also, former porn star Asia Carrera was arrested for DUI. She was found passed out on the couch at her daughter's school in Utah's Washington County School District Elementary School. In her statement to police, she said she was waiting to speak to the principal about her daughter's grades. Miss Jessica Steinhauser, that's her real name, did score a .254 though on her sobriety test. Not too bad, you drunken whore. This day marked the 50th anniversary of the famed Bloody Sunday March of civil rights activists from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. President Obama spoke at the famed bridge crossing and stated, "I'd like to see one of you crackers try that shit on me." He then proceeded to strut across the bridge with his hands up in the surrender pose that is being adopted by many minorities in the Missouri area. And he also was shown with his waistband hanging below his ass cheeks. You go, man. He's all into it. And in Arkansas, a Republican state representative was found guilty of giving away his 6-year-old adopted daughter to an aide of his, who then went and raped her. What the fuck are they doing down there? I heard of the South, but Christ almighty. Use just their own kids, not adopted ones. And of course, daylight savings time is here, which is means you'll probably be seeing this video an hour later than you usually do at the end of the week. Got to catch up for that. In international news, it's been 1 year, folks, since the Malaysian Air Flight 370 disappeared. I did have more notes on this, but I think 2 are missing. So, should attach the black box to it. And the U.S. ambassador from South Korea was attacked and slashed across the face and arms this week. Nasty. The attacker thought he was a big cat. Just a little hungry. And Russia has caught 2 suspects in the killing of the government critic, Nemetsov. One of the names of the suspects was Zaire Dadaev, which translates to Lee Harvey Oswald in English. You get the drift? He's just a patsy. And the terrorist group is as they're known, continues to clear out ancient Iraqi cities by bulldozing them over. When asked why they were doing that, they stated to make room for condos. Then they chopped off the reporter's head. That was his last telecast. But for more news on our national and international scene, we go to our very own John Smarmy with his One Brown Eye on the World. Smarmy?
Thanks, Dan. Hey, Smarmy here. Let's find out what's odd and weird news is going on lately. The last week, $9,000 worth of undies have been stolen from a Wyoming J.C. Penney. This chick must have worse stains in her underwear than a truck driver with food poisoning. That's a lot of underwear to steal. I have no clue why she would steal that much. Dancing fat man shamed by internet bullies from the website 4chan. Stars of the internet stand up for him, and over 1,700 women throw him a dancing party to make him feel better. Stars are getting involved like Pharrell. I hope this guy gets laid. Dance, fat man, dance. There should be no dance shaming out there, folks. Man's cell phone explodes in his pocket. Guys, we don't think about this as a man, but we have a satellite phone, gas, near our balls every single day of our life. I wonder why we have an autistic problem in this country. Put your cell phone in your pocket or somewhere else. You might explode. Alone. Right. Kelly Clarkson is coming back with a top-notch duet. And I'm only bringing this up because, boy, is she ballooned up. Just want to make a very happy African-American gentleman happy someday. Anybody see this picture of her? Cops say a con man took his neighbors to an NFL game with their own stolen credit card. Well, he's a thief, at least he's generous. Nice try. And finally, I just want to wrap up by saying I watched Tom Hanks and a Carly Rae Jepsen video called I Really Like You. And I always dreamed of this. Ever since Carly Rae Jepsen's first hit single, Call Me Maybe, I said, please, Tom Hanks, please, if you're out there, join her in her venture. And I woke up yesterday, my dream came true. Dreams can come true in the iOS. And this dream is over. Dan, what else is on the show? John Smarmy. I'm only serious news.
Thank you, Smarmy. Speaking of fat men dancing, Facebook is trying to get rid of the fat emoticon that people use there. Thumbs down on that. And better watch them dreams that you're having if you have your cell phone in your pocket based on that story you did. Next up for us is sports. And here in Philadelphia land, it's not so good. The Flyers lost the late lead in the closing seconds of play against Boston on Saturday. 14 seconds left, Boston tied it up. Then lost the game in overtime, thus ending any hopes for the playoffs this year. Yeah, sorry to say. The Eagles made yet another trade after trading away Pro Bowl running back LaShawn Shady McCoy to the Buffalo Bills for linebacker Kiko Alonso. Yes, another Oregon Duck grad. They traded away their own mascot, the Eagle, for the University of Oregon's Silly Duck, thus completing Chip's fantasy team. The Sixers continue to lose, which is in their case is good news. It gives them a higher draft pick. And the Phillies get set for Clearwater for what intends to be a losing season also. So here in Philadelphia, sports fans are now required to have a chaperone with them whenever they intend to cross a bridge, at least for the foreseeable future. But with more on sports and games and things of that nature, we bring up our very own John Rice with some Gamers Update. Ricey?
Thanks, Dan. I'm back. But, something's stuck in my tooth. But, sorry, I did. But, yeah, I want to talk about some old school video games. The first one I want to talk about is, well, this one. Right. Yeah. Batman. Batman Returns. It's a great beat 'em up game. It really is. Up until then, the Batman games kind of sucked. Other than the animated one, that one was kick-ass. But other than that, this one's the only really good one until like Xbox and PlayStation ones. But get it? It's it goes exactly how the movie is. So if you've ever seen the movie, you know how the game goes. It's pretty much exactly how it is. It's hard. It's awesome. It's a beat 'em up. And Batman Returns. It's dark. It's dark. It really, people die. I never noticed it when I was a kid, but it's dark. It is. It's awesome. But that also reminds me of a game made by Capcom. And every time you hear that little Capcom noise, everyone has their own video game that they think of. Me personally, I think of Street Fighter because the little noise and then the Street Fighter music, and you pick your player and you beat someone up and you fight with your friends, and it doesn't matter. But this one, a lot of people actually think of this one, which I don't understand why, because it was like a later game in the Super Nintendo days, I guess you would say. I don't really know. Wikipedia or something, Google, I don't know. But War of the Gems, Marvel. It's an awesome beat 'em up game. It's very hard. You can play as either the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and yeah. Once one of them dies, though, they're dead. Can't use them. Nope. Found out the hard way. Yep. Spider-Man died. Couldn't use him.
He was gone.
Yep, he was dead.
Was it a jewelry war or something? War of the Gems?
Yeah, well, you know, you gotta pick up like different gems and stuff that's about it, really. You pick up different gems. And you beat people up. That's really what I focused on. I didn't worry about the gems. That's probably why I haven't beaten the game yet. But, yeah, that's about it. If you haven't gotten these games, go out and get a Super Nintendo because, I mean, everyone loves Super Nintendo. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Royce. And what was the name of that thing you just said? Retron 5? Look for one of them players, folks. Then you can play all these old games. It's about damn time them Japs came up with one of them. You bastards. Only fun. Only serious. Next up is our very own Darren Martinez with his movie views and reviews. Let's see what he saw this week and what he's got to recommend. Darren?
Thanks, Dan. So, another week of movies, and this week I went to see Chappie. I don't know if you saw the preview for Chappie.
Chappie, no.
It's about a robot.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes to life and has consciousness and wants to learn and, figure out the world like a baby. And I think I've already talked about it in maybe a couple episodes before, saying that it was like Short Circuit. In that episode, I recommended Short Circuit for you to check it out. And I watched Short Circuit that week, and then I watched Chappie. And of course, there's a lot of similarities. Chappie, I really liked it. I thought it was really fun. It was good adventure. There's a couple cheesy things about it, just like there is in any kind of sci-fi film.
They try to shut him down at the end.
It's got all the stereotype cliches that you can imagine and you can expect, with a few twists that are fun as well. I'm not gonna, spoil anything. But because that director of that film, Neil Blomkamp, he's in the news right now as possibly doing Aliens remake or sequel or something like that. I think it's a sequel to Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
So
they're all pretty good.
Yeah, but to me, I think Aliens can't be like... Aliens is one of my favorite films of all time, Mind you, it's one of the best action films of all time. Best in the series, I love Alien because it's a very dark, horror, thriller, intense film. But Aliens was my, favorite thing because as a boy, tons of guns, shooting aliens. It was badass, So anyway, Alien vs. Predator is the first film I recommend because, this wasn't Aliens, right? It wasn't a horrible film, in some people's opinions. But I want to recommend you check this out and then watch Chappie and then see if you think he'll be able to take over the reins. After Chappie, I believe he'll be able to give us something. I don't know if it'll be anything close to Aliens, but I feel like I can trust him now after I've seen Chappie. Anyway,
is his Uncle Skynet?
Yeah. Kevin James is in the news. He's got Paul Blart Part 2 coming out. I don't know if you saw the first one. Recommend you guys go check out the first Paul Blart. Just because the second one's coming out, and the only reason why I wanted you guys to go check out, Paul Blart 2 and pay any attention to Kevin James at all is because he was a comedy cabaret guy.
Was he?
He did the comedy cabaret, and he worked for a guy who owns the comedy cabaret, Andy. And they're friends, and he even has a video recently posted on YouTube where he talks about the comedy cabaret, thanking them for the years and the stage time and all that. So, so I'm going to go ahead and say, guys, go check out Kevin James. Support him and his films and Paul Blart too. Even if you hate him and you think he's a king of Queens style, whatever. The last thing I want to talk about and recommend is Beauty and the Beast, because they're making a live-action version of this, and Luke Evans, the star of Dracula Untold, which I reviewed on the show, you can check it out in episode 748. I don't even know if that's correct, but Luke Evans, he'll be starring as Gaston, which is weird because Gaston in the cartoon is really big, burly man, and Luke Evans is, he's not really that big. He's slender, but he's in good shape. So, and I think he's operatic enough to do it. So.
Are they gonna do singing and all?
Yeah, I think so. But we'll find out next week with some more updates. Dan, back over to you.
Thank you, Darren. And we shall. Chappie the robot. Nice. Don't forget, folks, by the time you see this broadcast, the Suburban Comedy March Madness competition will have been underway. And one of our favorite comics will be on Monday night's show, and hopefully he'll be in the playoffs round. Our own Rick Robotin. But speaking of that silly character, let me bring on now for our closing Ron Morrow and his Mystic Minute. Let's see what he's got for us this week. Ron?
Thank you, Dan. By the way, did you know that if you put wine in a blender for like 30 seconds, it ages it by like years? It's pretty good stuff. I am Ron Morrow, and this is the Mystic Minute. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to discuss an influx of hunger demons that has recently it's my grimoire, don't worry about it. Hunger demons, which have recently been accosting me during recent bouts of meditation. These hunger demons take on an insectoid appearance with drooling mandibles and tendrils, which they tangle you with in order to pass their curse onto you. I found the best solution for dealing with these hunger demons is peanut butter, actually. Peanut butter counteracts the acids that they project from their mandibles, which sort of tends to keep them at bay. They like boxed wine. They're not gonna get it. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Ron. And I suppose you shouldn't use jelly when you're using that peanut butter because it'll just reactivate them. Well, we got one more segment for you tonight. It won't be our misled thoughts, as our own Tony Viejo is up sightseeing at Niagara Falls. Yes, Niagara Falls. Slowly I turn. And now for John Rice and a PSA for us. John, what do you got?
You need to get yourself a bathrobe. If you don't already have one. Seriously. For those of you who already have one, you know you know what I'm talking about. Seriously, it's comfy, it's warm, it's pocket space. I mean, but there are some rules when wearing a bathrobe. Some do's and don'ts. Like don'ts, you don't wear jeans with a bathrobe. You don't wear a button down with a bathrobe. Or a tie. That's why I have the tuxedo t-shirt. To be still formal, you know? But boots are exception. Boots are an exceptional... Because sometimes it's snowing, you know? You gotta wear boots. I don't remember the rest of the announcement. I don't. But all I do know is the important information that you need to go to your local store and get yourself a bathrobe. Any color would do. Thanks, Dan. That's your public service announcement.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this week's edition of the I'm Only Serious News Network. I'd like to also thank our staff, John Smarmy, John Rice, Darren Martinez, and Ron Morrow. Tune in next week when we have our full complementary of hosts with you. And Tony Viejo will be giving us an update on his presidential election contenders. Until then, thank you very much for tuning in, and don't forget, get out to your local spots here, either Monday nights at Jersey's Bar or Wednesday nights at the Vintage Bar in Abington, and come out and support live comedy in the suburbs for the Suburban March Madness of Comedy Competition 4. Have a good night.
If you... You need to get yourself a bathrobe. If you don't already have one.